What's going on YouTube? Snowflake Zemos here today with a new Master Duel video. In this one I wanted to talk about my Reversal Quiz Library FTK deck. And mainly the reason I wanted to make a video about this is a deck I've been playing a lot with to fulfill one purpose, which is to activate a lot of spell cards in one turn. There's some secret quests, and sometimes during events they have quests to just activate spells and trap cards. And if I ever want to bum rush through all those and get the rewards real quickly, I can throw this deck in here. Um, it works very similar to the the Exodia library decks that you would see profiles of right at the start, but just with a spell condition based win con, so that we are playing entirely spell cards. So with that, let's get into the cards. Starting off with our monsters, I'm playing 3 copies of Royal Magical Library. This card is the card that lets us draw our whole deck. Each time a spell card is activated, you place a spell counter on this card. It can hold a max of 3, and then you can remove 3 spell counters to draw a card. So every 3 spell cards, you draw a card, and that gets you more cards. That's pretty great. Next, the only other monster we're playing in our deck is 1 copy of Anchamulfrite. This is a pendulum card that you can place as a pendulum card in your pendulum zone, and then if you have no monsters in your extra deck, you can destroy this card in your pendulum zone to draw 1 card. Was a pretty popular card in Monarch decks to draw a card and get a material out. But in this, we're just using it basically to draw a card. Also counts as a spell when we play it, and it's worth that. We don't want to play extravagance or anything because we need to draw lots of cards. So, this guy gets a home here. And that's it for the monsters. Next, talking about spells, replacing mainly anything that helps us get more cards or replace cards. We're playing 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. In Reversal Quiz, you basically trade life points with your opponent by making your life points really low and then burning them, so it doesn't matter that we're giving our opponent a bunch of life points, and this draws 1 card, so awesome. Next, we're playing 3 Toon Table of Contents. This is really nice because seeing 1 Toon Table in Magical Library is a free library draw, because you can use Toon Table to grab Toon Table, and then with the last one we grab Toon World, which is a pretty useful card because it's a spell we can activate, giving us a counter on Royal Magical Library, and paying 1,000 life points is very important for the life point manipulation that is necessary for this deck. You can play a copy of Toon Bookmark too, which is pretty cool, but I just don't have it at this time. Next, I'm playing a copy of Terraforming. That's going to search our chicken games down here. Just searches a field spell. Awesome. Next is Reversal Quiz, just the 1 copy. This is our win condition. If you've never seen Reversal Quiz, you send all cards in your hand and on your side of the field to the graveyard. Call the type of card, spell, trap, or monster on the top of your deck. If you call it right, exchange your current life points with your opponent's current ones. So that's pretty sick. Basically, you destroy yourself, and when you're just about to die, you give your opponent that life, and now they're just about to lose, and we're going to use that to win the game. Next up, we got 2 copies of Magical Stone Excavation. This discards 2 cards to target a spell card in our graveyard. There's a couple of cards that after you activated are dead, and we can use that to recycle Golden Bamboo Sword, our main draw power, and even cards that benefit from being discarded. So keep that in mind. Next, we're playing 3 Magical Mallet. Very important. Shuffle any number of cards from the hand into the deck, then draw the same number of cards. So if you get a hand that's stuck, you can mallet it away. Gives you a spell counter on library, and then also lets you draw a card, which will let you draw a card later, which is pretty cool. This is important because unlike other library draw your whole decks, we actually need to leave 1 card in our deck so that we can use Reversal Quiz. So when you want to save these, if possible, until you have all your needed pieces to perform the Reversal Quiz. Next, we're playing Double Summon. This can allow us to summon a 2nd library, and that's pretty sweet. If you ever get 2 libraries out, you basically can't lose, which is awesome. Next, 3 Golden Bamboo Sword. If we control a Bamboo Sword equip spell, we draw 2 cards. That's awesome. We want that card. Next, Into the Void. If you have 3 or more cards in your hand, draw a card, and then if you do, during the end phase of the turn, discard your entire hand, so it replaces itself, and that last effect is not a big deal. Next, we're playing 1 copy of Pot of Duality. Excavate the top 3 cards of our deck, add 1 of them to your hand. Also, after you shuffle the rest back into the deck. You can only use 1 Duality per turn, and you can't special summon. So 1 copy, because we can only activate 1 per turn, and we don't want to have any other turns. This card is also pretty important because when you're down to your bottom 3 cards, you can play Duality, and you can check to make sure that only your spells are left so that you call the right thing with Reversal Quiz, which is pretty sweet. Next, we're playing a copy of Foolish Burial Goods, sends a spell or trap from our deck to the grave. This is used to send Cursed Bamboo Sword from the deck. It's one of the Bamboo Swords that has a second ability, essentially, that says if this card is sent to the graveyard, add a Bamboo Sword card from your deck to your hand, except Cursed Bamboo Sword. So that gives you a broken Bamboo Sword if we need that, or if we already have the Bamboo Sword equipped to a monster, it gives us a golden Bamboo Sword, and that is pretty sick. Next, 3 copies of Piri Rise Map. It's just more copies of Royal Magical Library. At the start of the main phase 1, we add a monster with 0 attack from our deck, but have our life points. Very important that having life points too is very good for the life point manipulation needed to play this deck. But you can still do it without. We just want to see Royal Magical Library as soon as possible, so we play 3 of these cards. Any other extras can be discarded with Stone Excavation, etc. Next is Black Pendant. This is how we burn our opponent after we've swapped life points. So when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, inflict 500 points of damage. So when you're ready to Reversal Quiz, got your life points below 500 or lower, you just set Black Pendant, and then you play Reversal Quiz. Reversal Quiz will do its effect. You'll swap life with your opponent. Then immediately after, Black Pendant will resolve, burning your opponent for 500 damage. What's nice about this, Fuma Shuriken does a little more burn damage, but this one can be equipped to our magical library, whereas Fuma Shuriken cannot. So if we need another spell counter to draw a card, we can play Black Pendant. Next, we got the Broken Bamboo Sword. It's just an equipped card that basically allows us to play the other Bamboo Sword effects. Next, and then we have the 3 Cursed Bamboo Sword. Next, I'm playing 1 Psychic Blade. It's an equip that allows us to pay life points in multiples of 100 to a max of 2,000. This helps us finish off our manipulating of life points to get us to 500 or less by just equipping it to a Royal Magical Library. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Chicken Game. Very important card for this, and one of the reasons we can't play this in the TCG is that we need 3 Chicken Game. Now this card allows us to get our life points low enough even if we didn't start with Piri Rise Map. So basically we pay 1,000 life points to draw a card, so pretty cool. And this card won't remain on the field when you Reversal Quiz, so you don't have to worry about your opponent not getting hurt. Next is Toon World. That's just to end our Toon table. And then last, we're playing a Cybernetic Fusion support. Cybernetic Fusion support pays half our life points, and then if we fusion summon a machine monster this turn, you can banish the materials instead. So you can activate this cost no matter what, and having your life points is very important. Do this at the right time, and we will be able to get our life points low enough. And that's it for the cards in the main deck. So basically talking a little bit about the combo, what you got to do while you're drawing your whole deck is you also got to get your life points to 500 or less. If you open Piri Rise Map, it's very easy because this will start you at 4,000 life. Then 3 Chicken Game activations would put you at 1,000, and then you can use either Cybernetic Fusion or Psychic Blade to do the rest of it. If you don't have Piri Rise Map, you need to use Chicken Games, Cybernetic Fusions, and Psychic Blades in order to do so. Any combination of these usually can work, although you need to activate Cybernetic Fusion before you activate more than 2 Chicken Games, I believe, or else it can get a little dicey. But the 1,000s from Chicken Game, the max of 2,000 from Psychic Blade, and Cybernetic Fusion support, these 5 cards can always do it for you. If you don't have Piri Rise Map, Toon World also helps because you can activate by paying 1,000 life points. So just keep that in mind. You'll see a way we do it in the replay here in a second. Alright, so here's a replay so we can see a little bit of the deck in action. One thing to note, usually with this deck you need to be winning the coin flip and going first and hoping your opponent doesn't have too much interaction. You could play through some unless you have just a bad hand, but usually going second if your opponent sets up a board. Not much you're going to be able to do. Like I said, this deck is not for climbing. It is mostly just for being able to get a win, but also just play through your entire deck, activate a lot of spell cards as quickly as possible. Basically what I use it for, farming those spell card requirement quests. So let's get started here. We are going first in this game. We got our magical library, that's what we want to see. So we start with library. We're going to play Into the Void, draw a card. Now that we have Foolish Burial Goods and our bamboo swords, of course, we can send the Cursed Bamboo Sword to the grave, use its effect to add Golden Bamboo Sword. Once we have library and Golden Bamboo Sword set up, you're pretty much set, unless your opponent has been saving the ash for a more powerful play, which can do. Do keep that in mind. So we draw off of our library counter, and then we draw Tune Table. Whenever you get Tune Table, and you don't have all the other tune cards, play through that first so that you don't risk drawing into the other tune cards. So we're going to grab Tune Table, and we're going to repeat this a couple times. That'll get us all the way to Toon World, and that gets us 3 counters on Library for us to be drawing a card. Library is going to draw us a card. Now we're going to play Golden Bamboo Sword, draw 2 cards. Now we're kind of stuck with this hand, not too much, so we're going to play Magical Mallet. Shuffle everything back except the Magical Mallet in case we get duds on the redraw. But we get a chicken game, which is good. Chicken game, use the counter, draw the card, double summon, which is pretty good. Golden Bamboo Sword to draw 2 cards. Then we're going to play Golden Bamboo Sword to draw another 2 cards. Upstart to draw a card. It gives us a 3rd counter on Library, and Library is going to draw us a card. At this point, we got 7,000 life, so we are going to play Cybernetic Fusion because it'll get us a counter, and it puts us at 35, which is a really easy position for us to self-regulate our life points to 500 or less. Upstart, draw a card, give us a counter. Into the Void, draw a card, give us a counter. We're taking a counter. Upstart, the train goes. Now we got Magical Stone Excavation. We're going to get rid of our 2 Piri-Rizi maps that are dead in our hand and make it a Bamboo Sword. Gets us a token too, which is pretty nice. Then we're going to play Golden Bamboo Sword, draw some cards, and boom, there we go. Double summon now that we got the 2nd library. Play another chicken game, draw a card. Play another chicken game, draw a card. This gets us to 1,500. And from this point, we're pretty safe for the combo because we got Psychic Blade, Black Pendant, and Reversal Quiz. We always need to be seeing these cards so that we can get our life points to 500 or less and have the 2 cards for the combo. Remember to save mallets in case one of your last cards is going to be one of those. You got to try for it. So we're going to burn ourselves all the way to 100 before I forget. Magical Stone Excavation, get rid of some dead cards, get another Golden Bamboo Sword. We got 6 cards in our left in our deck, so we're drawing 2. We got the other monster, which is very important. One of the things to note is we're not playing anything that stacks the top of our deck. So we have to be keeping track of when our libraries are and our Anak Move Fright is, because everything else is a spell. So if we've seen these cards, we know to call spell. If we're missing one of these cards and we only have 1 card left in the deck, we need to call monster. But since I only have 3 cards left in the deck, I'm going to play Pot of the Duality. Just add that monster now. Now I know there's no monsters in the deck and only 2 spells. Going to play 1 more spell card because I can. And then I will set the Black Pendant. Very important. Black Pendant needs to be on the field. And then I will activate Reversal Quiz. It's going to wipe our whole field and our hand here. We got 1 card. We're going to say it's a spell card. We know what it is. So we're swapping life here. And then immediately Black Pendant activates and burns our opponent. So pretty cool. Also gets you a lot of points for your duel pass because you win on the first turn before your opponent even gets to go. And you get that extra bonus for having very few cards left in your deck. And also, sometimes you get the comeback bonus because your life points were so low. That one seems a little more inconsistent, but it's not surprising to get 5,000 or 6,000 duel point score from this. So that is it for my Magical Library Reversal Quiz FTK deck. Yep, just something in Master Duel I'll pop in when I want to play a lot of spell cards, try to make some progress towards some spell card quests. You know, playing this deck 2 or 3 times, getting it to go off is enough to complete like a full play 100 spell cards thing for Duelist Cup, as I was doing here. So I thought I'd share that advice in case somebody wants something where they can easily just powerhouse grind spell card activations. And, you know, there's a lot of different things you can do with this core too. You can play Exodia, you can play Blasting the Ruins, which I would say is the best. So just thought I'd share. Figure it's pretty useful and a different variant of the library draw everything. So let me know what you think. Have you been playing the library draw deck since Master Duel came out? What win conditions are you using with it? I'd love to know. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thanks for checking it out. I'll catch y'all in the next one.